Yo, what the deal? It's your boy X.E.L. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you. Yes, thank you for coming back. But if you are new here, please do me a favor, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. That'll let you know when I drop another video. Today, what I want to do is go over Traction Waveform free, and I want to also talk about the pro version as well, and some of the things that the pro version can do and what the free version actually has to offer. I know I did a poll on my YouTube channel, and this is what you guys said you wanted to actually see, like an introduction to Traction Waveform. So here it is. All right, so here we are on the Traction website. So the link should be below in the description to get to this page. This is the Waveform free. It is absolutely free. It comes with a whole bunch of different things. You can watch the video if you want to. So what I want to do is go to the expansions. This is to show you really quickly. They have the launcher. So this is brand new. So if you are a person that is coming from Ableton, or you want to actually have that feel of Ableton to launch clips, this is the place for you. So you can actually add MIDI in these. You can actually do chords. You can do waveforms. All this right here inside of the launcher, and you can buy it as an expansion for the free version if you didn't want to buy the pro version for 50 bucks. Right now they have this DJ mixing tools. So if you are a DJ and you are using Traction Waveform, you can use this as a way to actually DJ from Traction Waveform, which is really, really cool. It also gives you the option to do stem separation with this piece of this DJ mix tools. So really, really cool. And it's also 50 bucks if you wanted to purchase that as well. They have a pro video option where you can actually edit videos inside of Traction Waveform. That is 50 bucks. So that's $150 right there if you want to actually get this for Traction Waveform, right? You have your recording engineer. So this is like the mixing tools that they've added on here. This Dr. Groove is for like if you have a drummer who's kind of off, you can always get them to be on using this Groove Doctor. Really cool. You have the strip silencer where you can strip all the silence out of the track, right? And you have some editing tools, some snapshots, some editing groups, some single, dual guitar. So, and that also is 50 bucks if you want to do that as well. But if you are a producer, this is the one that you need. This MIDI producer option is the one that you need if you are a producer inside of Traction Waveform. If you just want to use the free version and not get the MIDI production stuff, that's cool as well. But I would say if you don't want to pay for the whole thing, this would be the route I would take if I didn't want to do the pro version. So the MIDI producer comes with the MIDI Pro, some chord packs, some macros. You can actually do different macros and assign them. It has modifiers, face plates, a multi sampler in there, and a drum sampler. So these come with this production. And you also get the subtractive, which is a VST, and you have a bass VST as well. And that is 50 bucks if you want to actually purchase that. But if you are a producer, I would definitely suggest to get this MIDI producer one, right? You have a synth pack where you can actually get the synths that they come with and the multi-sampler and the drum sampler as well, right? And you can get all this with the free version, so you don't have to actually purchase the whole thing. Waveform Pro, and as you see, it's starting from $100. So you can buy it now. You get unlimited tracks and sub mixes. You get 10 software instruments, 38 audio effects, and 10 MIDI effects, right? So this one doesn't really come with those, but the free one is unlimited tracks, clips, folders, and sub mixes. So basically it's an unlimited DAW for free if you want to do that. But if you purchase it, it's 100 bucks. If you wanted to do the stem separation and you wanted the MIDI, you might as well just buy the pro version. It's $100. So these are just some of the suggestions that I have. And with that, you also get the clip launcher and the video and the producer stuff and the bundles that come with it. So I think it's worth it if you're gonna do the Waveform Pro for 100 bucks. I would definitely say to try it out for free and see if it's something that you do want to work with. And we'll get into Waveform right now. All right, so here we are inside of Traction Waveform. This is what it comes up with. This is the welcome screen for the DAW. If you wanted to do a new project, you have a new project down here. You can browse projects. You can get demo songs as well. You can go to your settings and you can learn about the DAW itself right here, Right up here is the recent edit. So all these things are your recent tracks or songs that you've made. This is your project templates. So you can actually make templates inside here, which is really cool. I've made one right here, this X.E.L template. You have an option to do some color schemes. So if you wanted it to be light, you can do that. If you wanted to actually edit some of this stuff, you can do it right here as well. Right, so I'm a dark guy, so I'm gonna leave it on the dark mode. And you have your audio settings right here on the welcome screen, so you can actually set that up. You have a news feed where it shows you all the things that are part of Traction Waveform, and you also have training videos that you can kind of go through on here as well. Hopefully one day I will be on this training menu list. Let's show you how to browse projects. So if you had a project you wanted to browse, you can just click on the browse. This is what it looks like. You can add folders on here. So you can go right down here where it says new project and add a new project. You can open project. You can create a folder. Once you create a folder, you can actually collapse them. So this will help you keep your stuff organized to whatever you're trying to do, right? You have the restore and backup. All right, so what I wanted to show you is going down here to the help. If you click on this, it'll give you an option that says show the first run setup panel. So once you first run Traction Waveform, this panel will pop up on the screen and say, hey, these are the things that you need to install to get started with Traction Waveform. And I think that's really cool that they actually do that. The content creator is really easy to kind of just download the content, and you can have everything set up pretty quickly, right? So you can go through them and, you know, set up your audio device, set up your MIDI device, scan for your plugins, whatever plugins that you have on the computer. You can scan for your loops and your sounds. You can even watch the tutorials here. It'll pop up another screen. So all that is right there inside of Traction Waveform when you go to the help, right? So you have actions down here as well. You can do keyboard shortcuts for different things, whether that be the transport. You can set these up. If you wanted to set them up, you got to go to your settings and then go to your keyboard shortcuts, and you can change any of these out. This reminds me of Reaper so much. I really like that feature that they have created in here. But let's move on, right? So you can open up a project from here. You can also go to your settings right up here. It'll take you straight to your settings where you can do your file location. You can do your control services. You can do your chords. So it has chords in here. Your audio device. So whatever your audio device is set up to, you can do that in here as well. You can change your appearance to whatever you want, the browser, the languages, the clips, the tracks. All these things are in here that you can kind of change, right? You can go to your downloads, and if you go to the downloads, it'll give you an option to launch the download manager. I think their download manager is actually really good. I haven't had any issues with it. It's kind of just downloaded what it needed to download. So the downloads are here though. You can set your file locations. You can change your general settings for whatever you want to, whether that be MIDI, meters, features. So it has a lot of stuff you can actually do inside of your settings, right? You can also set up your MIDI devices. So whatever MIDI device you're actually going to be using, you can set up your plugins and see what plugins you want on here. Have them show or sandbox. So you can actually do all that right here. Really, really cool. They have an advanced option where you can kind of just do different things and set different parameters and settings. I thought that was really cool that they give you all these options in here, right? So let's go back to the welcome screen. And what I want to do is open up my template, right? So I'm gonna click on the template. So this is going to start a brand new project, and let's just name it YouTube 1, right? And we're going to create the project, and it's going to tell you the location. It's going to go to my document. So I'm going to create project. And this is what I have my template set up as. I have one track. I have these options down here to what's called an action panel. So you can have more than one. You can hit the plus sign and it'll add a new one on here, or you can hit the minus to remove it, right? If you don't see this on yours, you need to go up here to the top right-hand corner, and there's like a little eyeball up here, and this will give you an option to kind of see whatever you need to see on Traction Waveform. So this is the mixer. This is like your track place where you can get your tracks, MIDI, and all that stuff would be in this section in your audio. Up here is like your arranger. I have it set to a 4-bar loop. and you have a smart lock, so you can lock your stuff to the grid. And this is an option to do your like global tracks, and you can undock stuff as well and move it around. I always like the fact that you can do that in certain DAWs, where you can kind of move things where you want them to be. Over here is your actions menu. So whatever actions you're trying to do, it would be right here. You also can do actions down here. So if you hit on this little arrow right here in the bottom left hand corner, click on that, it'll bring up this section here. It would be basically your actions or properties panel for your tracks. But what I really like about this thing here is that it'll give me an option to just kind of quickly load or unload whatever I want to do. So if I hit on this one, it'll close the browser. As you can see, I can open a browser. The properties is down here at the bottom. As you see, it collapses that, right? So plugins is on the right hand side of the screen. As you see, the plugins disappeared. If I click on this one, it'll hide the mixer. If I want to bring the mixer back, I can just click on mixer. I can also click on MIDI and it'll bring up my MIDI editor, which is really cool, right? And you have this overview option, so you can kind of move around to see where you want to be in your track. I think this is a really cool option. If you have a really large project, you can kind of scroll around and find what you need there, right? And the arranger would be this arranger here, and chord and master. So all of this is right here. This arranger, if I want to bring up the tempo, as you see, the tempo popped up there on the top. The marker will bring up the marker, right? And chord track will bring up the chord track. The chord track is really, really cool. I will definitely do a video on it showing you guys how to actually use it. I think it is one of the game changers of this DAW, at least to me it is. All right, so, you know, this is your track lane. You can add another track by hitting this plus sign. You can add track. You can add several tracks if you wanted to. Really, really simple. You can make a folder track, and you can do a submix track. So this will give you an option to create like a drum bus out of this submix. I think that's really, really cool and really easy to set up. And they make it simple for you to kind of have all your drums and things all in one kind of group, right? So if you want to do a loop, you got to make sure that you move your endpoints. So usually it'll start off like this. You want to just make sure you drag your point out, and if it's not looped, you can hit on this little button down here that says looped, and it'll actually loop it for you, right? So you can set your tempo, and as you see, it'll pull up on this side, on this left hand side. But if you didn't want it over here, you can change this and have it go down here to the bottom, and you can set this to do whatever you want. So these are actions. You can go to file and set up files in here if you wanted to. You can do a search for whatever instrument or sound you're actually looking for. You can do groups, and you can do tracks. The tracks is the same thing as these tracks over here. So let's say I wanted to hide this track. I can hit on hide and it'll hide that track. And you have markers. If you had markers, it would show all the markers listed here as well, right? So I'm gonna leave this on search for right now. And if I wanted to change any of this stuff, I can change it. But if I didn't want to do it down here, like I said, you give you that option to kind of change it if you wanted to. If you wanted to actually have it where you can see the actions would be here. If you want to change the tempo, all that is right here. If you want to change the key that it's actually in, you can do that as well. This is basically the key for the whole track. So if you're using the chord track and you wanted to follow the global track, this is what you would actually change, this right here. And you could change the key, the scale, all that right here inside of this little section down here, or you can actually do it over here if you want to do that as well. So you can do the track, you can do edits, right? So whatever you want to edit in there, you can do that. You have your tracks and you have your key. So a lot of things is in here. As you see, it can be completely overwhelming if you want to just try to jump in here and just start making stuff. But I just want to show you some basics to kind of get you going. So if you wanted to make this into a MIDI track, you would have to right click on here. You right click on the track itself, this little box, and you want to go to like whatever your MIDI set is. So right now it's set on audio. Whatever the input one is what would be coming out. So if your audio interface has more than one input, you'll see them right here in the audio section. but I'm going to just click on all MIDI ends, and that'll give me an option to do the MIDI. So if I right click on here again, you also see you have a live input monitoring, so you can do input monitoring if you wanted to. You can record enable, you can record enable all, so anytime you add a track, it'll automatically enable recording for that track. And this will actually give it to follow the sections. I think that's really cool. And you can also do the number of inputs on the track itself. All right, so let's say if you wanted to add an instrument, you can go over here to this plus sign and you click on that, and let's just say key zone. This is one way to do it. You don't have to do it this way, but as you see, it'll pop up with create a multi-output wrapper. If your VST has multi-outputs, this is a real easy way to set it up and create a multi-output for your VST. So if you're using like Contact and you want to have a multi-outs, this would be the easiest way to do it, and it'll create it on its own. You can create just a wrapper, or you can create a wrapper with a submix. So basically everything will be in like its own folder, and the submix will control that folder. But I'm just going to do it as a single instrument, right? And I have my MIDI controller set up, so you can actually play out stuff this way. I think that's really cool and easy to kind of set up. So if I wanted to go into search, I'm gonna go to search up here, right? And let's look for some samples. Right, so I'm just gonna find a drum loop. Right now the tempo is 140, so let me just find one that's 140. Right, and you can just drag and drop it into the session, and it's gonna ask you if you wanna import it. Do you wanna copy the loop into the project folder? So if you want these things to actually go into the project folder and not have to search for it the next time it opens up, you can hit make a copy and it'll actually put it inside of your project folder. If not, you can hit don't copy, which I'm just gonna hit don't copy. I don't wanna put it in there. So I have this in here now. So you see that I have this track here, but I can't put anything in here because it's gonna be a MIDI. So there's two ways to kind of do the MIDI. If you go up here to the right-hand corner, there's a little plus sign. You can grab this and you can drag it right to where you want it to be. And when you let it go, it'll actually, if you put in an audio clip, an edit clip, a MIDI clip, or a step clip. So I'm just gonna insert a MIDI clip. So let's say we didn't do it that way. So I'm gonna delete this. I just hit the delete button on the highlighted MIDI editor, right? So if I wanted to add one, I can just right click inside here and it brings up that same exact menu that I just had, right? So I can go MIDI clip, and I'm gonna stretch this out to make it the 4 bars, right? I'm gonna show you the chords really quickly. I don't wanna spend too much time on it. What I wanna do is go up here to chords. See where it says chord? If I right click in here, it's gonna give me an option to insert a chord clip, right? So what I wanna do is make sure it's starting on the first bar, and I can just kind of stretch this out, right? And it's gonna make its own chords. As you can see here, it's gonna just default to whatever chords it thinks this should actually follow in line with. So if I click on this MIDI and I wanna see what's going on, I can go down here to the bottom and click on this and bring this up. I'm gonna bring up the piano roll as well. Let me shrink this. Now I can go to this option right down here that says pattern generator. So if I click on that, it gives you an option that says pattern style, and I can click on this and it's gonna ask me if I wanna do arpeggio, chords, bassline, or melody. So this gives you an option right in here to make these. So I'm gonna hit on arpeggiator, and as you see, I have a whole bunch of different arps that I can actually use, and this is what it sounds like. It's gonna follow whatever these chords are up here. All right, so as you hear, that's one way to kind of do it. So what I'm gonna do is I wanna add some different chords. Let's go to chords. And as you see down here, it gives me an option to do chords. So this was the first one. So if I hit over here where it says suggestions, it's gonna add another chord. I'm gonna add another chord, and I'm just clicking the one that's highlighted. So as you can see, it's changing inside of the piano roll as well, right? So now you can see those chords generated right up here inside of the chord track. So I'm gonna click on this MIDI and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna change this from arpeggiator to chords. So now I have these chords set up in here. Right, and that doesn't stop there. I can always do a spread for them, so they'll spread out. As you can see, it spread them to different lengths. So if I play it, I can add another chord going down, this down octave. And we have chord presets. Right? Right, and I can just go back to the default. Right, and you can do all this right here from the chord track. Super, super dope, super, super easy to use, as you can see. Is one of the many features that are included inside of Traction Waveform 13. So really excited to kind of show you guys a little bit more of what this DAW can actually do. So if you haven't already, make sure you are liking and subscribing to the channel. I will be going over more Traction Waveform stuff on this channel itself. So make sure you are liking and subscribing to it to see those videos. But with that being said, I think I want to end it here. And there's so much more to actually show. There's a whole lot of different things in here. There's a whole bunch of different chord options that you can use. I haven't gotten to the step sequencer. I haven't gotten into the warping or editing of the audio files. There's a whole lot of things to get covered inside of this DAW. So definitely join me when I come back and actually do those in here. And once again, it's your boy, X.E.L. Until next time, people. Peace.